Species. Unite.
I think something that I learned from doing that was that this is all in our heads. Like it's all for show. Just because there's a security guard there, even if he's right in front of you, it doesn't mean you can't just run past him and carry on. Just because there's a fence doesn't mean you can't climb over or cut through it. And CCTV, like, it doesn't matter. We're doing this openly anyway. We're not hiding anything. So that's kind of irrelevant.
Hi, I'm Elizabeth Novogratz. This is Species Unite. This conversation is with Rose Patterson. Rose is co-director of Animal Rising, one of the UK's most visible and disruptive animal advocacy movements. Over the years, she's helped lead open rescues, mass direct actions, and investigations that have forced national conversations about factory farming, animal testing, and the systems designed to keep animal suffering out of public view. Animal Rising has blockaded distribution centers, exposed RSPCA certified factory farms, and rescued animals from facilities that most people didn't even know existed. This episode centers on something more immediate. In 2022, Rose and other Animal Rising activists openly rescued beagles from the UK's last beagle breeding facility for animal testing, fully aware that they could face prison for doing so. The rescue was never about saving individual lives. It was about putting animal testing itself on trial. Rose and I talk about what it means to choose open rescue over covert action, how Animal Rising has evolved from headline-grabbing moments to sustained high-impact campaigns, and why Rose, facing a potential prison sentence, describes her situation as a win either way. Underneath all of it runs a question at the heart of every justice movement. What are we willing to risk when we know suffering is happening? Rose, it's so good to see you.
Thank you. Thanks so much for having me.
For people who don't know who you are and don't know who Animal Rising is, will you give a background on yourself and Animal Rising?
I've been involved in the animal rights movement. Well, I guess in some capacity, like from a young age, I learned about animal testing because there was an animal testing lab in my hometown. So I think I was around somewhere between 10 and 12 years old. I became aware that there was this animal testing lab because there were activists had put stickers around my town of animals being tested on, and having my cat at home, which was like my best friend. And I couldn't believe that people were testing on cats and dogs and primates. I remember saying to my mom, I want to go and protest at this animal testing lab. And 2019, everything kind of exploded with Extinction Rebellion. Basically, XR took over London April 2019 and shut down all the bridges. Thousands of people in London taking this, it was really this positive vibe. It was something that I hadn't seen before because my activism in animal rights had always been I was always wearing black. I'm still wearing black. Also, we're matching right now.
We have the same outfit on.
So I think this is like our animal rights uniform. And I guess doing things kind of more undercover, or it was quite this more covert feeling, I guess. And then I saw these people fighting against climate change, but with this, it was a totally different vibe. It was really positive. Then Animal Rebellion formed. We were like a sister organization to Extinction Rebellion. That was when I saw people blocking a slaughterhouse and then getting arrested, and hundreds of people outside watching, but cheering and shouting, "We love you," while they're getting carried away by the police. And it was like this really open, collaborative atmosphere, and exciting and exhilarating. And I was like, I think this is what I want to do. And so I got in touch with Animal Rebellion, and I just feel super lucky that I landed in a role where I was organizing big direct action campaigns. And so, since the beginning of 2020, I've been part of Animal Rebellion, which we've now changed our name to Animal Rising. We're best known for doing these direct action campaigns where we've shut down McDonald's distribution centers. We've disrupted the dairy industry, like physically blockading distribution centers for a couple of weeks. We've rescued beagles from MBR acres, rescued lambs from King Charles's estate. We've recently done the largest investigation in UK history where we exposed 45 factory farms or RSPCA farms. We're not just doing like the direct action side of things or these kind of creative campaigns to raise awareness about animal issues, but we're also incubating projects and organizations like plant-based universities, plant-based schools, communities against factory farming now. There's a lot going on. So yeah.
In the UK, pretty much everybody has heard of you. Like you're a household name, Animal Rising. You guys have really changed the landscape in the UK for fighting for animals in ways that people hadn't seen, I think, in a lot of the things you've done. And a lot of your campaigns have been massively successful and you've gotten a ton of press. So you're everywhere. So congratulations for that. I want to talk today about the beagles. Will you just lay it all out?
So MBR Acres is basically a beagle breeding facility in Cambridgeshire in the UK. They also have operations in the US too. They breed beagles for animal testing. And so, yeah, they're not tested on there, but they're shipped off to multiple labs. And they still go to the lab in my hometown today. This thing of that's like, yeah, been with me since I was a child. I learned about more than 20 years ago, probably 25 years ago, still happening, which is really, really sad.
Are they the only beagle breeding facility in the UK?
Yeah, so they're the last one in the UK now. There are around 2,000 dogs that are bred there each year. I think they're about 16 weeks old when they get shipped from there to the testing labs. And of course, there are mothers there that are getting impregnated over and over again, just used as breeding machines, and all their puppies taken away from them to be sent off for these horrible experiments. Camp Beagle formed in 2021, and this is a camp. They're still there today. We're in 2026 now, so they've been there for 5 years nearly. They're camping, literally camping outside MBR to raise awareness about what's happening there, because it's just in the middle of nowhere basically, but it's got this like kind of main road outside. If you go visit the camp, which anyone can, there are people beeping their horns in support, and yeah, it's definitely raised awareness. And I think that's probably one of the reasons we went there, because it's been a symbol in the animal rights movement in the UK for a long time. People have rescued beagles from there in the past, but not since, I think it was the 90s that was the last time this happened. And so things have definitely changed at MBR since then. The security has increased, also probably because of Camp Beagle being right outside as well, but there's 24-hour security. So there are physically, like security guards doing these like night watches where they keep going like every hour or so. They'll go and walk around, and there's big fences with barbed wire, CCTV cameras everywhere. It is kind of like a prison. We spoke to multiple people about going about doing a rescue, and they kind of like, this is impossible. Like no one's done this for decades, and you're crazy. And of course, the risk as well. The offense is burglary, and you're facing prison if you do this. And our plan was to do this openly, and that's what we did. And we did it twice that year. The story's a little bit complicated, but
first, just explain how you did it with all the security and that you did it openly.
I think something that I learned from doing that was that this is all in our heads. Like it's all for show. Just because there's a security guard there, even if he's right in front of you, it doesn't mean you can't just run past him and carry on. Just because there's a fence doesn't mean you can't climb over or cut through it. And CCTV, like, it doesn't matter. We're doing this openly anyway. We're not hiding anything. So that's kind of irrelevant. We put a lot of effort into preparing ourselves for this psychologically. I think it paid off, because if you're not prepared for all of those obstacles, then you can just overthink it. Or if a security guard's standing in front of you, you just stop and leave and run away. But we didn't. The first time there was a rescue, it was Ben, Bo, and Dan on the 20th of June, 2022, managed to get in. They literally had a security guard in front of them as they were cutting through the fence, and they still did it. And they rescued 5 beagles that day, which is insane. They got charged with burglary, but then the charges were dropped because of lack of evidence, apparently. Even though we published this, they handed themselves in. They went to a police station and literally said, this is what we've done. And it was actually quite hard for them to get arrested. There's some funny footage of them trying to get arrested.
Explain the point of open rescue versus covert rescue.
Open rescue is a bit different. It's about, of course, we're there to rescue those individual animals. And then there's also getting media attention and raising awareness about what is happening. And I think it's really important. Unfortunately, you need to use people's faces. It's important to have a human face because people don't always relate to those animals. So the point is to raise awareness, to show that this is nothing to hide. And the sacrifice, I think, can inspire people as well. The fact that we're seriously potentially going to see people in prison very soon because of this. And that also, I think it indicates to the public that this is a serious issue that people are willing to risk their freedom for. It shows like how severe the conditions and the treatment of the animals is, and it's comparable to other social movements as well. Everything we do is rooted in Kingian nonviolence and being open and accountable for actions. It's just like really, really important. And I think, yeah, when I see people that have fought for other social justice issues and for animal rights issues openly, that's really inspired me to do it. And so, yeah, I think that's another reason to do it, is just inspire people.
This first rescue, it's the 3 guys and they get off. The charges get dropped.
Yeah, so their charges got dropped. So we're like, okay, their charges got dropped. That means it's not illegal and we should go do it again.
Before you go forward, what happened to the 5 dogs?
Oh, so they all went to loving homes. I managed to spend some time with them just after they got rescued, which was amazing. So, I mean, we know beagles, they're used for experiments because they're so docile and friendly and loving and trusting. And they were like, yeah, playing with us so much and so excited. They live in concrete cages full of excrement and they don't have toys. And so, yeah, I saw them in a home playing for the first time all together. It was like so sweet. So yeah, I don't know the exact locations or who they're with for their own security, because the police actually tried to find them after the rescue. They went hunting, like they literally went to people's houses looking for them. And so for their own security. So they're in unknown locations, but trusted people helped find them safe homes. And so, yeah, now they're living out their life. Like they're somewhere out there. Every time I see a beagle now, I'm like, oh, maybe that's one of the beagles we rescued. And yeah, it's just, yeah, nice to know that, yeah, I played a part in that. And then it's like, then they move on and they live out their lives. So those 5 beagles are out there somewhere. And then we decided, okay, well, exactly 6 months later, so it's the 20th of December, 2022, we went back to MBR Acres, 18 of us this time. And we rescued 18 beagles. Unfortunately, 2 were taken by the police. So I was actually caught whilst I was running across a field. There were 3 of us running. And maybe I'll go through what happened that night. But
Yeah.
So it was like, we got into the facility. This time I was trying to make a hole in the fence using an angle grinder, which broke. And yeah, it was a bit stressful. And then slowly cutting with a bolt cutter. And then we could hear alarms going off and things. And it was like, oh my God, but we just kept going, just running into these long sheds. So they have these long like buildings full of beagles, and it was like cage after cage. It was like quite dark outside because it's winter and it was 6 a.m. And then there was like super bright lights as we ran in, and then all this like smell and sound and the sight of hundreds of beagle puppies all just like yapping. And I mean, they must have been like, what the hell is going on as well? Because it wasn't a normal night for them. I think it was like stopped for a second when I ran in, and then it was like, okay, go, like we need to get beagles. And people had climbed into like one of the cages and were passing the beagles over the cage, and it was just this like crazy experience, and it was like chaotic. And I don't think any of us were really speaking much. I don't really remember, but it was like everyone was just focused and knew what to do. And yeah, it was weird.
And everyone grabbed 1 dog.
People grabbed 1, maybe some managed to get 2. They were actually quite big. They're not tiny puppies. They were quite heavy. Their security guards were physically trying to stop us at the same time. Like some of them were pulling on the beagles, like a tug of war situation. Everyone remained totally nonviolent, which I was like so proud of everyone, like how calm everyone stayed and kind to the security that were, trying to stop us. And then myself and I think 2 others, we managed to get over a fence. I was carrying a beagle in my arms and they were running as well. And then there were people running after us with torches. I could feel these lights behind me and I assumed it's security. And so we were running. So I started running off towards the left. They carried on to the right. And then my beagle, it was like this strange moment just before those people caught up with me, but he was like licking my face and I was kind of laughing as we were like running as well. And it was just like this beautiful moment. And like he was, about to be free. And I guess I'm not sure if he'd been outside of that building before, and it was so sweet. But then he started wriggling as he wanted to get down. And so I put him down for a second to kind of pick him up again because I was losing my grip. But then the 2 people behind me jumped on top of me, and they were like, "You're under arrest," and it was the police. It was just horrible because yeah, that I was just like, putting my body over the beagle, and we called him Love afterwards. But I was just crying and saying, "Please don't take him." And a female police officer was telling me, "Don't worry, you can trust us, and you can trust me." And she was taking him from me, and there was like nothing I could do in that moment. But at least I knew that the other two had gotten away with more beagles, and I don't know. Yeah, it was just horrible. They took that beagle from me, and they found one other one as well that we called Libby. And yeah, they took me to the police car. I was arrested, and I could see the beagle that I'd had, Love, was in another police car playing with like a police officer in like the back of the car and stuff. It was really, really sad. I mean, there was a lot of public outcry trying to get Love and Libby released and to loving homes. In the end, they took them back to MBR Acres. And yeah, I mean, I've heard rumors that they were released from MBR at some point. I don't know.
Right.
Yeah, so that was just like really, really sad. But that story of Love and Libby, I think, was really strong and showed like the public support for the release of the beagles. But yeah, even though they were taken away, there was 18 lives had been saved that night as well, and which is incredible. And yeah, because I was arrested and I had no idea if anyone had got away, so I was waiting in a cell just not knowing what had happened. And yeah, it was like painful.
And pretty much everybody else got away?
So everyone got away with their beagles. The plan was for everyone to return back. So they got them to cars, and then they came back to MBR and informed the police of what they'd done. And then the police arrested everyone as well. So that's like part of being accountable. Part of the plan was we want to put animal testing on trial. We want to go on trial. So we are where we wanted to be. We knew we wanted to be on trial for this. That generates publicity. It's a jury of 12 members of the public that are going to decide whether this action was illegal or not. It's really, really exciting. And now we're in the middle of the trials 3 years later. Yeah.
They've already started. They started in December. How did they do it? There's 18 of you on trial?
Yeah, so there's 18. And actually, after we did that second rescue, the 3 that did the first rescue got charged again. So now they're actually on trial now too.
So there's 21 of you on trial.
Yeah.
But they broke it up kind of weird, right? Like you're not all on trial together.
Yeah, it's 20 of us because Ben did it twice. So there's 20 of us in total on trial for 2 different rescues, but they've split us up into 5 different trial groups. We've already had the first trial, which was in December, and unfortunately they got found guilty.
5 people who went to trial in December, they're found guilty, but they haven't been sentenced yet.
That's correct. 4 of them are going to be sentenced at the end of February. They'll be sentenced, and there is a high chance, I would say, of a custodial sentence, so a prison sentence, at least for some of them. Ben, who did the rescue twice, he's going to get sentenced after his second trial for the other rescue, which is in March.
And what are they facing potentially?
Yeah, technically burglary, you can get up to 10 years, but that's the worst case scenario. And that's normally if you've been like committing multiple offenses. Realistically, we're looking at months in prison. So we're hoping for months. And in the UK, you usually spend like half of your sentence in custody. So yeah, if you get 6 months, then you'll only actually spend 3 months in prison. Yeah.
Still a lot of time in prison. I mean, one night, I think, is a lot of time. When is your trial?
My beagle rescue trial starts on the 23rd of February, and it should be about 2 weeks long. And I'm actually on trial for another rescuing lambs from King Charles's estate, which is actually just before that. I don't know if they planned that, but it's quite frustrating that I've got 2 rescue trials, big trials in February.
Is it the same thing? It's burglary?
Yeah, it's a similar offense and defense, but it's technically theft because we didn't actually go into a dwelling. We didn't go into a property. It was from a field. So it's like a slightly lesser offense, but it's similar.
Here in the US, I think it was 2021 or 2022, when we had the Envigo beagles. And 4,000 dogs were rescued by the Humane Society because their treatments were so egregious in the breeding facility in Virginia where they were. And all of a sudden, it brought so much mainstream attention to the fact that we tested on dogs. Most people didn't know that. And unfortunately, most people forgot that. Like they were shocked and then like forgot later. But it shocked me how few people knew. The UK's all got to know now, right, because of this, that beagles are still being tested on. What's that landscape look like?
I think it's probably similar in the UK, that a lot of people think that it's been banned because there's a cosmetics ban, like testing ban in the UK, Europe, and especially dogs. I think people just have no idea. But yeah, it's actually been difficult to get much press out about this trial, because during trials the press can't talk about the trial, which is, you don't seem to have that problem in the US. But yeah, so it's actually been quite difficult to talk about it and to get press. So I think most of the high quality press is going to come out after all the trials have been done, because they're not willing to break any rules. We are talking about it on social media a bit more, and on podcasts. We're not releasing anything that we're not going to say in court anyway. We're going to be completely open about everything we're doing.
You would think that would make a jury a little more empathetic, being so honest and open, but apparently not in the first trial.
Yeah, I think it's quite difficult. I think there were definitely learnings from the first one on like how to, because everyone's being open, but there's also like how to frame things in a way that the jury, like normal members of the public, are going to empathize with or relate to more. With this next trial, we'll see what the results are, but at least we have like multiple trials to kind of like learn from. The actual defense, the main defense that we're using is honesty, because one of the things that they have to prove to find us guilty is that we were dishonest. And so the fact that, because that's part of like the
really,
so basically, we have like a lot of things in our favor because we're so open. But there's still reasons people are biased, and for so many reasons. There's many reasons why the first trial group were found guilty. So I'm feeling like hopeful. I'm feeling very optimistic because like I know what I did and that it was honest, and my belief at the time, like with everything in my life that has happened to lead me up to that point, and the reasons for why we did it, we're being totally open about it. We're not hiding that this is also about raising awareness as well as rescuing those individuals. We're trying to free all the beagles, not just those 18. It's going to be an exciting trial, I think.
Have you or other animal rising people been in jail because of rescues?
No one's had a prison sentence, although Ben spent time in prison on remand, which is where, like before trial, which is such a messed up thing. I don't know if you have that in the US. He spent a month in prison, but luckily no one's actually had a sentence that's meant that they've been in prison. So we've had hundreds of people going through the court system over the years, but it's mostly been like fines or community service, and no prison yet.
The reason I'm asking is because I don't want you to go to jail, Rose. 1,000% don't want you to go to jail. But does that do anything for awareness versus not going to jail? Like, is there any upside into anyone serving any time?
I mean, I think we need a variety of tactics. I don't think everybody in the animal rights movement should be doing this kind of thing and all going to prison for it. I don't know, maybe that would actually be really helpful. Maybe one day, but I don't think we're at the stage where we need everybody to be doing that. And I think we want a variety of tactics. And I think there is something really powerful about the sacrifice of, like I've said, going to prison and for the animals, and it sparks conversations. And I think you get really high quality, like deep stories in the media through this. Of course, you're going to get the right-wing press saying rubbish, but I think the more supportive news outlets are up for like publishing like longer form content that's really powerful, as well as of course on social media. Everyone has their place in the movement, and there are different things that people are willing to do or are good at. And personally, it's something that I'm fine with. I think it's probably not normal, but also like I'm genuinely at peace with the thought of spending some time in prison. I know it's a privilege to be able to say that as well. But I think like I'm in a place in my life where like I can do that and I'm okay with it. I'll meditate and read and study for a while. I know it's not forever.
And so you're not scared?
No, I haven't. I think I'm just, honestly, I've got so much other stuff. Like we're doing so many other campaigns and things in the organization.
Yeah.
I'm focused on the immediate things at the moment. I don't feel scared. I definitely it's not going to be nice or comfortable. And it's just an experience that's going to be totally different to anything I've experienced before. But it's also, I think, experiencing the system, like experiencing going through the court system. Like most people don't experience that. And it is just completely broken. I think there'll be a lot of lessons or experience that I'll learn from by going through that, if that does happen. Of course, I'm hoping to win and get an acquittal, but
me too.
I'm fine. It's like win-win for me, honestly. Yeah.
When I talked to you a couple years ago, Animal Rising was a lot newer then. You guys were getting so much press. And so a lot of people were not only aware of you, but were very aware of a lot of the egregious things happening to animals all over the UK. Is that still the case with Animal Rising? Like, are you still getting that kind of press, or has it changed?
I think probably around that time when we met, it was probably around the time we were disrupting the Grand National horse race.
Yes, it was.
Yeah, that year we got a huge amount of press because the Grand National is the biggest horse race in the world. It's one of the biggest sporting events, if you can call it sport, in the UK. We had 118 people getting arrested for disrupting that, and the police actually knew about it 2 weeks before because we were infiltrated by the Daily Mail, which is actually a good thing in terms of getting press and everything. It was a good opportunity. And so, yeah, we got tons of front page news that year. And I think it was like, yeah, that was amazing. And then I think the repression that came after that, we were getting our doors kicked down by the police. Like, I think that happened to me like 3 times, 2 or 3 times that year, and getting raided and all these things. And it was like, just for disrupting some horse races, it was really mad. So that bit we weren't expecting. But I think we decided to shift our tactics a bit. And I think there's value, tons of value in getting that press. But I think the media landscape is shifting, and now we're talking more about social media and how do we get this like higher quality, and there's the quality versus quantity. And yeah, it can, I think the dopamine hit of getting like this like, yeah, big press moments, and through like other kind of like controversial actions, like pouring milk on the floor in a high-end supermarket, and throwing like just stop oil, throwing soup on a painting. I think there's value in those things, but I think more recently we've been shifting more to like quality content rather than just this like, yeah, trying to get press.
Talk about the quality
Yeah, so then we shifted in
media.
2024 to scaling investigations, and that was something we'd never done before. We decided to go to RSPCA assured farms, and in the UK, the RSPCA, well, I think most people have heard of the RSPCA, the Royal Society for the Prevention of Cruelty to Animals. They have an assured scheme where they put their stamp of approval on animal products. And we just thought this is, I mean, there's obviously controversy by targeting the RSPCA, but we also saw them as like a friend that had lost their way. They're supposed to care about animals. They're the oldest animal charity in the world, 200 years old. It was their 200th anniversary that year. And so we thought, let's do a massive investigation on their farms to see what's actually going on. And it turns out they're all factory farms, and the animals were in really poor conditions. We didn't get this like front page. We were aiming for front page news because the year before we'd got like 13 front pages. And then we were really disappointed when we didn't. But actually, I think what we did achieve was we started big conversations in the animal movement. It was definitely controversial. I think less so in the UK, because I think a lot of animal rights people in the UK are kind of aware of this and think that the assured scheme is an issue because it's, yeah, endorsing animal products.
Exactly. Even if they were treated nicely.
Yeah. I think there was like a bit more like backlash coming from US or countries where people were like less aware of like the significance of the RSPCA and what it represents in the UK. Through that campaign, there are three, like their president and vice president. So Chris Packham, who's a massive like celebrity in the UK, Brian May, who's the guitarist from Queen, he's their vice president, and Caroline Lucas, who's she was the Green Party leader. They all resigned from their positions at the RSPCA because of our campaign. Many other things that happened, and so I think in the media it wasn't like as big as other things that we'd done, but the people that did see it, it was like started these proper conversations. It wasn't just about the tactics, which often are actions that people just focus on the tactic rather than the issue. I think it was more sustained. Flash in the pan. It was like a big flash in the pan. But yeah, RSPCA was this more sustained campaign. Yeah.
Congratulations for that too. And right now, are there still campaigns going on while your 20 of you are going to trial?
I think it's okay to say on here. I'll say anyway. I think we've been fairly public about it. We're quite open with what we're doing, apart from like some specifics. But yeah, we'll be launching another like massive investigation, bigger than the last one on the RSPCA, but on factory farming in general. We've been training over the last year. We've trained volunteer investigators. Over 100 people have come to our investigations trainings. And then our team, our core investigations team, takes them out on investigations. We've done over 100 investigations in about, I think it was like 6 to 9 months. This massive investigation is going to be released, and we're going to have a long-term sustained campaign on factory farming, because that's the thing that like ourselves and of course, yeah, many others in the animal movement are really, I mean, that's where the most animals are suffering. But yeah, we're working with others and like trying to coordinate on factory farming now and actually see an end to factory farming. The other thing we started this year was our Communities Against Factory Farming campaign. And this is about stopping new farms from being built. And I've lost count of how many campaigns we have now. So we've managed to work out when there's a new planning application for a factory farm somewhere in the country, we have a system to like get a notification about it. Then we send objections, stop these farms from being built by through objections. Sometimes it goes to a judicial review where we have to kind of like appeal a decision made by a council. But basically, we've had a 100% success rate in either delaying or getting a farm rejected. And every time you delay it, that's hundreds, thousands of chickens potentially that are not entering the food system for a certain amount of time. So yeah, that's like super effective. And it's quite different to what we've been doing. It's not direct action, but I think it's probably one of the most effective things that we've done so far.
It's massive. And are communities that are lined up to get a factory farm, are they learning then about what that factory farm actually would be and do to the community in terms of like health and environment?
Exactly. It's about working with local communities. So it's not just us going in and being like, yeah, we're doing some like legal work and stopping it. It's like working with the local residents. They're mostly non-vegans and teaching them about, the issues. Of course, some people do care about the animals. A lot of them are not aware about the animal issues and are more concerned about traffic in their town or the environmental issues. I mean, these farms are affecting some people's health so badly, like people getting asthma because they've got a pig farm in their back garden and things like that. It's like really terrible. And so, yeah, we're actually working. That's one of the key things we wanted to do. And we're always trying to bring people into the movement that aren't necessarily vegan, because we can't win. We're not going to win with the current number of vegans that we've got. We need to be working with people that aren't vegan or aren't there yet. That pre-vegans is what I like to call them. It's actually been really inspiring. The team have been going out. They had like a mini tour going to these rural communities, organizing these kind of like gatherings, like parties in like a town hall or like a community center, and bringing all this like yummy vegan food. These people have like never eaten good vegan food before, and they love the food. And then they're all coming together as a community, which they've never done before. Yeah, that's like one of the most like inspiring transformational things that I've seen about this campaign as well. So we're not only winning on the ground, like with this, stopping these farms from being built, but it's also like bringing these communities together to stop a factory farm. And I mean, ideally, they'd be helping other communities stop factory farms in the future as well.
It's also letting people know that they have this power, that they can stop this.
Definitely. I think that's something that a lot of people need to be told. I think that's something that I've learned over the years. Like I said, with the rescuing beagles from MBR acres, we thought like, oh, there's loads of security, and like, how are we going to, maybe we shouldn't do it because there's a fence. And it's like, well, once you don't see that fence anymore, you don't see it as an obstacle, then it's like you can do anything really. And I think that's what we should be doing more of in the movement. And that's something as Animal Rising we try to do, is help people to transform them to be the person they always wanted to be, and give them the power to do that. Because we need more people that that want to do this, and just to give them the skills and the confidence to do that.
You guys are so inspiring, and you just keep getting better. Is there anything anyone can do to help with what you're facing, or help Animal Rising?
The best thing you can do, you can follow us on social media or visit our website. We have petitions around shutting down MBR acres. It doesn't matter where in the world you are, you can sign the petition. I'd say getting on our mailing list, following what we're doing, and we'll be sending out calls to action through our mailing list. And those could be, of course, all of this costs money. So anyone that can donate anything, really appreciate it.
Thank you. I am rooting for you next month.
Thank you so much. And thanks for having me. And love talking to you.
Since this interview was recorded, Rose's verdict has come in. She and the 4 Animal Rising campaigners that she was accused alongside were all found not guilty. So happy to share that with you. To learn more about Rose and to learn more about Animal Rising, go to our website, speciesunite.com, We'll have links to everything. We are on Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok at Species Unite. If you have a spare moment and could do us a favor, please subscribe, rate, review on Apple Podcast or wherever you listen to podcasts. It really helps people find the show. I'd like to thank everyone at Species Unite, including Gary Knudsen, Caitlin Pierce, Amy Jones, Paul Healy, Santina Polky-Link, Hannah Gabrielson, Patrick Norton, and Anna Kolner, who wrote and performed today's music. Thank you for listening. Have a wonderful day.